Welcome back. We're still looking at the developments in the energy market sector, and I'm being joined now on the program by Olabode Shomi. He's the editor-at-large Energy magazine, and he's also the CEO of Capture. Thank you so much for Capture PLC, you said.
Limited.
Capture Limited. Well, thank you so much for coming on the program this morning. It's a pleasure. Well, let's talk a little bit, because we've got a little more time to talk about the markets before we delve into the issue proper. Looking at how the oil and gas stocks have been performing, do you think that it's looking gloomy going forward, or do you think they will be improving anytime soon?
No, it's normal. First of all, we need to understand that oil as a commodity, at the end of the day, is still a commodity. Commodities go up and down. It's like cocoa, it's like coal and whatever. There are certain uncertainties in the market, which is based on certain complex variables, but a lot of it has to center around the expected growth or no growth from the BRICS countries. We're talking about Brazil, India, China, and co. There's also the issue of Iran. With respect to Iran, initially there was a lot of shout in the expectations that they're going to produce close to 1 million barrels per day. That was even what their oil minister said. But that is not possible, nor is it feasible, especially in the short run. But when you put all those variables together, I think in the next few months there will be a balance. Yes, it's normal that when there's breaking news, the market adjusts, but I don't think it's an earthquake.
So you're also of that school of thought that the oversupply glut that we're actually seeing on the global market is not something to worry about. It could just be a passing phase.
It is a passing phase. We need to understand that in the 80s, oil was sold at $10 a barrel. So, it's not like, there's nothing that has happened that has not happened before. So, but basically, it is important to know that just like any industry, just like any business, there are times when it's up, there are times when it's down. And we as a nation do not always have to be on the short end of the stick anytime that our primary commodity is down.
Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit more about this plan by Transco to do a fusion, as in to merge with, beg your pardon, yes, to merge its power business subsidiaries, Transco Ugeli Limited and Ugeli Power PLC. That's going to be like a major conglomerate that we're going to be having in the power sector. And so, things could get a little bit better going forward, especially with regards to power generation for them.
Well, you see, at the end of the day, it's not really, bigger business, bigger companies has its benefits. You understand? They also have their disadvantages. What is expected, or what we'll expect, is that they have understudied whatever value that they are trying to bring out from that merger. Maybe it's greater access to finance, maybe it's greater credibility. Whatever value that they are trying to bring, it is that value that will ultimately matter. In terms of the merger to the general person, it's neither here nor there. What is important to the man on the street and important to us as individuals and as stakeholders who are receiving energy is the fact that there should be energy security, which simply means that energy is available to us in a non-disruptible manner at a cost that is affordable to the people. As simple as that statement is, it's very complex to achieve.
And I wonder why. But let's now talk a little bit. We've got about a couple of minutes to our next break. So let's talk about that issue, restructuring of the NNPC. I remember listening to some commentators the other day, and they were like, is hope finally rising for the NNPC? We see this massive restructuring of that state-owned oil firm, which has been a major source of controversy in the last couple of years. So is hope actually rising for the NNPC?
Well, we can ask that with a change in government, is hope arising for everybody? It's just about what they do with the system. The first and primary thing we need to understand is that NNPC or any other organization is a system. And a system works when the system is worked to produce. It is not about individuals, but about individuals who can make the system produce. NNPC has had, I think, about 17 GMDs within its corporation, which means the average lifespan of a GMD is like 2 years. But what has that done? They have had very many, with all due respect to the qualifications of the GMD and coming in, it's not going to be the first. Dr. Igewu left. he had a PhD in mechanical engineering. I mean, sorry, yeah, and a first class. He was the first Nigerian to be sent by Shell abroad and all that, and the originator of the Gas Master Plan. So there are people with credentials. But having said that, there are certain there are certain issues to be considered, one of which is the consistent interference of government, which I believe that should end with this tenure. I mean, the fact that the GMD every day must be made to report in the villa is not something that is normal, because the job of the GMD is not that of an advisor to the president, but of a man that is supposed to run a profit-focused organization.
But when we come back, I'm going to take you up on this, because this is the geese that lays the goose rather that lays the golden eggs for the country. Is a major revenue earner. In spite of all the challenges with regards trying to diversify the economy, we still get most of our revenue from oil proceeds. And the NNPC is smack dab in the middle of it, of course, because it handles most of everything. Now, when the president started talk about ridding the system of corruption and plugging leakages and the loopholes and the rest of it, he was pointing first and foremost at the NNPC. And so we are going to continue to see a little bit of government interference, political interference, if you will, in the NNPC. And so when we come back, we'll take the conversation up from there. Our Business Morning continues in just a moment.